Okay, Jordan now is coming out with some changes on their citizenship by investment program, fast track program. They don't have visa free to the Schengen countries, so they don't have to worry about these changes where they're going to have to convert it into a residency by investment program. Although one of the changes they've got is actually a new residency by investment program, okay? And they're also making more options for you to get the fast track citizenship program. And I actually like this program quite a bit, except for the visa-free travel. One thing is that they've got brackets as high as 30%, but that's for income that's made in Jordan, because Jordan has a territorial tax system, which is really neat. And, the only thing I don't like is you got 66 visa-free or visa-free on arrival countries and territories. And obviously, since it's a fast-track program, there is no language requirement on this one. Because like I said, it's not a residency by investment, it's a citizenship by investment program. And I do like one of the options which I'm gonna explain to you a little bit more in detail, but one of them is you can actually go into publicly traded shares on the Jordan stock market. And I actually went and did some research, and I'm not giving you investment advice on this, so you can get with an investment advisor. You can look this up yourself. I'm just giving you some facts, and you can go from there, because you never know what the stock market's going to do. It can go up, it can go down, you can lose your ass from going in it. So, but these are the facts here. I went and pulled up the Jordanian stock market, and I went back over the last, the market goes up and down, so you can't predict anything based on what it's done in the past. You can only look at the trends and maybe guess on it. And that's the only way you can do it, because no one's going to know what the stock market's going to do. But I actually went back over the last 5 years, and it was the Jordanian stock market was at 1577.50. And exactly 5 years later, I actually took it up to July the 3rd, which is today. And they closed quite a few hours ago because of the time difference, but it was 28.18. So it almost doubled in 5 years. So using the rule of 72, that's close to around 12% rate of return. But again, that didn't include dividends. The chart does not include dividends. It shows what the market has done after the dividends is paid out. Also, you have to look at what the currency's done against the US dollar, because that chart is not going to reflect that. So you have to go back and look at what the Jordanian currency is done versus the U.S. dollar, if that's what you're using, the currency you're using. It might have done better, it might have done worse. I did not check on that, but that is something you have to look at. Another thing you're going to have to look at too is how liquid these investments are, equities, if you try to get out of that market, because I live in St. Kitts, and in St. Kitts, if you go on the, for instance, the Eastern Caribbean Stock Exchange, you might look at the trends and what it's done, but if you try to sell those stocks, they're extremely illiquid. Now, probably more than likely, Jordan is more liquid probably than St. Kitts is, because St. Kitts is such a small place. But the point I'm trying to make is you have to take that in consideration too, because you could lose just trying to get your money sold all at one time. Plus, there's a lock-in period if you're doing this for the citizenship by investment of a 3-year period. That's another thing, which I'm going to go over those facts with you too. And also, there was an article on Emmy on this, and I want to hit some details on that also. And folks, again, you can do us a big favor. If you like our videos, give us a thumbs up and get these videos out to your friends. It helps on the algorithm of our channel. And also, don't forget to hit the subscribe button on the right of your screen right here. You'll get new videos automatically as they come out. And I would like to hear from you. If you got a question or comment, put it below, and go to our website, www.citizenshipquickly.com, and just ask for some help. Now, Jordan overhauls the citizenship by investment program, and they introduce a new investment option. There's actually several options they're offering. And again, they've revamped the citizenship program, and they now accept existing investors retroactively based on current business operations. Now, Jordan has replaced its earlier 3-category citizenship by investment program structure with a more diversified, multi-pathway framework consisting of 8 distinct investment routes that caps annual approvals at 500 investors, while lowering some entry barriers and tightening compliance requirements. Now, the Cabinet approved the new framework on July the 2nd, 2025. I mean, this just went through like yesterday. Fundamentally restructuring how foreign investors can obtain Jordanian nationality through economic contribution. Now, the previous system offered three main categories: $1 million in treasury bonds, $1.5 million in company shares, or $750,000 in business investment outside its capital of Amman. Now, the new framework introduces specialized routes, including stock market investment, employment-based qualification, a separate residency by investment program not tied to citizenship eligibility, and sector-specific opportunities in pharmaceuticals and logistics. So, you can go on the fast track program. They also have a residency by investment program. So you have that option. Now, Jordan has eliminated the passive bank deposit and treasury bond options entirely from the new framework. Fayed Al-Shamari, Senior Audit and Operations Specialist at Reach Immigration, was talking about this, and they praised this decision, explaining that removing passive investment options reflects Jordan's clear understanding of the low demand for such an option and the need to remove it. Now, investment thresholds now range from 350,000 Jordanian dinars, which is 493,000, for existing projects outside of Amman, to 3 million dinars for specialized sectors. The stock market pathway requires 1 million dinars in Jordanian equities, but imposes a 3-year lockup for profits and withdrawals, while limiting concentration to 20% in any single country, in any single company. Now, Ashamari expressed skepticism about the stock market route, noting that while it demonstrates the intention of the investment ministry to boost local financial markets, the option raises concerns about risk and control, since capital remains locked up for 3 years, where you're probably going to have lockup for the other things too. But I think I would rather go with that, because you're going to have a lot less commissions that you're going to have to pay out also. But you need to do some studying before you go into that market, because that is like a frontier market. So you need to be extremely careful when you go in there, especially for liquidity issues, currency devaluation, and just the fact that the stock market could tank. Now, but anyway, there were mentioned here that he was talking about the concerns with the stock market, with no access to profits or principal during the time that time in the market that remains modest and volatile. He added that this option offers no guarantees or protections against losses and limits the influence of the investor in company's performance. Now, the employment route represents the most novel addition, granting citizenship to investors who hire 150 Jordanians in Amman or 100 outside of the capital without requiring a specific investment amount. I would rather go with I'm not telling you to do this, but if I had to take a choice, you're going to lose. If you need 150 people to hire for your company, that's different. But that's going to be money that is going to be going down the drain unless you definitely need those people. But all pathways mandate job creation for Jordanian nationals, reflecting the government's emphasis on employment generation over passive investment. Now, however, Al-Shamari, he questioned whether the employment only pathway includes adequate safeguards, noting that regulations don't mention strict monitoring criteria. It could raise quality versus quantity concerns with potential for mass layoffs later on that could have a reverse effect on the ministry's main goal. Now, the new framework marks a major policy shift by substantially expanding eligibility to include existing investors who can now qualify retroactively based on their current business operations and employment of Jordanian workers without requiring new capital injection. This fundamental change from requiring fresh investment to recognizing existing economic contribution could potentially qualify thousands of foreign business owners already operate in Jordan. Now, the Minister of Investment, Muthana Garayana, noted that 561 investors have obtained Jordanian citizenship since 2018, predominantly Syrian and Iraqi nationals. Jordan has approved 30 additional citizenship applications in the 5 months since February, when the total stood at 531 investors. The new rules extend family inclusion to male children up to age 30 for investments exceeding 2 million dinars, expanding from the previous 24-year limit for standard investments. Now, Tariq Hazaris, he's the Assistant Secretary General of the Arab Businessmen's Union, described the changes as positive overall, but he's questioned. He says that he says it's positive overall, but he's questioned the 500 investor annual limit. Given Jordan's need for broader economic stimulus, he praised the inclusion of existing investors and the emphasis on genuine economic activity rather than passive investment. The framework introduces stricter oversight mechanisms across multiple government agencies, including the Ministry of Industry and Trade, the Securities Commission, and the Social Security Corporation. Officials can revoke citizenship for non-compliance, and all pathways require scrutiny, clearance, and financial verification before processing begins. Now, the real estate option here, they're talking about, provides a 5-year residency permits for property, and these are property purchases worth 200,000 dinars, marking Jordan's first formal real estate residency program. Now, this pathway targets investors seeking a residency without full citizenship. I don't like that. There's too many programs you can go on that you can get the citizenship, and that's not a good deal there. If you're going to go, I would go with the Citizenship by Investment program. But anyway, this pathway, again, they target investors seeking residency without full citizenship. Expanding the programs appeal to a broader investor base. Now, the new rules specify that purchases must come from developers rather than existing owners, which Al-Shamari noted shows the ministry's focus on moving newly built properties and boosting the real estate development sector. He observed that resale properties were allowed, and now they're not, highlighting the government's intent to stimulate new construction. Man, these people need to learn from St. Kitts' lesson. That's the last thing you want to do. Why would someone buy a property for citizenship that they can qualify for, but when they resell it as a resale, it's not going to qualify? Only developers selling new properties. That property is going to be very difficult to resell. Most people going in there with money, they're going to the property option. They're forced to go through the developer. See, St. Kitts did this years ago. They were only getting 19 to 75 passports a year back in 2005, 2006. I got a chart on that. When the new laws came out in 2012, where the government, for the first time they ever did this, they allowed you not only to buy the property, but you could resell it to new investors too, not just developers, but you could take your resale and resell it also to other people. St. Kitts' citizenship by investments went up. Well, I can tell you in 2005, they were around, I always get 2005, 2006. I think it was 2005 was 19. 2006 was 75 the whole year. When 2012 came in and they started allowing people to resell their own property, not just developers selling it, the amount of citizenships went up over 2,500 in a year. And you would think these guys would learn this. Maybe they'll listen to me and they'll learn it from what I'm telling them. When you do something like this and you don't let them resell their own properties, it's not going to work. People are not stupid. They're not going to go buy the property. You need to allow them to resell the property also too. Anyway, Jordan's, I would much rather, myself, I'm not going to tell you what to do. I would much rather go with the equity market option than going in and buying a property with that type of basis. And usually the properties are going to have usually a high taxation and high commissions on that on top. All right, now Jordan's CIP historically attracted regional investors seeking stability rather than visa-free travel, as Jordanian citizenship provides access to only 50 destinations without visas. The new framework maintains this regional focus while creating more structured pathways for different investors and investment capabilities. Now, I'm coming out with a different, they said 50 here. On my research, I'm coming out with 66 visa-free countries, not 50 that they mentioned. It says here, as Jordanian citizenship provides access to only 50 destinations without visas. Well, maybe that could be correct because you could be getting a visa on arrival. So that could be the other 16 they're talking about here. Anyway, it's 66 countries visa-free or visa-free on arrival. That's the total amount that you can go to with that passport. Now, the new framework maintains this regional focus while creating more structured pathways for different investor profiles and investment capabilities. Now, the 500 investor annual ceiling appears ambitious given the program's historical performance, as Jordan has processed only 561 citizenship applications since launching the program in February 2018. So you're looking at the last 7 years. That's not many at all. That's because of the visa-free travel. Now, the current framework maintains this 500 investor yearly limit, suggesting the government expects substantially increased demand under the new pathways, despite averaging fewer than 100 approvals per year historically. Now, I'm going to tell you, to me, Jordan probably has better weather. I'm sure it does, than Ireland. But Ireland, you can literally go to Ireland and not have, if you go there on a retirement visa, you virtually don't have to invest anything. And if you can put up with the weather and the passport, man, it's the third best passport in the world, and it allows dual citizenship. And is basically, it doesn't have a territorial tax system, but if you go there as a non-dom, you can regulate your taxes close to zero based on what you pull into the country, because they'll tax you only based on remitted money. Now, al-Shamari concluded that Jordan's approach represents progress, noting that the Ministry of Investment is clearly moving in the right direction through its decision to review the regulations and its outcome every 6 months. He praised Jordan for identifying actual investor demand, addressing several past shortcomings, and introducing tighter regulations to prevent abuse, describing the country as shaping a model that reflects its own specific needs through trial and error. Folks, if you want to know more on this, again, go to our website, www.citizenshipquickly.com, and just ask for some help. And again, you can do us a big favor, folks. We don't monetize our station here. Give us a thumbs up if you like our videos. It helps on the algorithm of our channel. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button on the right of your screen right here, and you'll get new videos automatically as they come out. And if you want to get your taxes to zero, how to get a second passport as quick as 4 months to a year, go to our website, www.citizenshipquickly.com, and just ask for some help. And I look forward to talking to you on the next video. Take care.